Hello everybody, Caventia here, but you can call me Cav. I'm here in a Drake Vulture and I'm going to show you how you can make millions of AUEC from illegal salvage missions. 9.8 million AUEC. Don't mind if I do, confirm. Let's get into it. In release 320, millions of AUEC could be made from a single mission, so I wanted to find out if it was still possible in 321 and show my fellow citizens how to do it along the way. Sadly, this is one of those scenarios where you have to spend some AUEC to make some AUEC, although technically you just need one thing to get started. The Drake Vulture, which you can purchase over here at New Deal at Lawville for less than 1.3 million AUEC. Now, if you are poor like me and you don't have enough money for a Drake Vulture, then why not consider joining an org like Seven Hills? Link in the description below. Once you've acquired yourself a vulture, or you have an org mate that has a vulture, the mission you'll need to accept is any salvage mission. I typically do my salvage missions around MIC L1, but you feel free to do yours wherever you want. You're going to have to pay a very small fee to get these contracts started, but you'll more than make that money back either by selling the salvage that you collect from the hulls or by the significantly more profitable missions that you will end up unlocking. It typically takes about 3 of these missions to unlock the high value illegal salvage missions. And although this isn't required, I personally would recommend heading over to her L5 High Course Station, where inside their Galleria, at the top of the stairs, you can find Platinum Bay, where you can purchase the Atlas Quantum Drive for a little under 18,000 AUEC. Although this isn't absolutely necessary, it will end up saving you some travel time in the long run and make your quantum jump distance further. Upon arriving, you'll typically end up about 50 kilometers away and have to fly in manually. Most wrecks are within asteroid fields, and so it's a good idea to scan as you go and maybe to cap your speed. Upon approaching your target, you may want to scan and try doing a target lock, and you'll typically find your wreck very quickly. Note these can sometimes be a few kilometers away from your initial salvage point you're being sent to. If you haven't used the Vulture before, M is to activate mining mode, and I'd recommend using the abrade module, and you can change between modules with a simple right click. If you're not in the sun, it may be a good idea to work with your lights on as well. Now all we've got to do is empty the bar at the top of the screen. I haven't actually collected any salvage yet. There are some bugs that mean that your salvage doesn't actually increase, but honestly, if we're just trying to get the illegal salvage missions, it doesn't matter, and will actually make this process quicker, as you don't need to empty the salvage boxes from the back of your ship. And if you look at the bar at the top, you'll see we're very close to completing this contract, and the contract is complete. There may be more hull left on the ship, but your job here is done. As soon as you finish one of these missions, you should see that you now have many more salvage opportunities. As soon as we've completed a few of the legal salvage missions, we'll unlock the 30,000 AUEC illegal salvage missions, and that's where we're going to make the majority of our money. The first mission I did was a 1,000 AUEC contract. I typically do a 1,000, 5,000 and 20,000 AUEC contract in order to unlock those missions. I'm going to grab another MIC L1 so I don't have to travel too far, and let's strip another ship. One ship done, 2 to go. Depending on how you prefer to salvage, you can also hit G, which allows the mining beams to gimbal, and you can use Alt and Scroll to make your beams wider, and Alt and right click to change them from horizontal to vertical. But you salvage however you like. We've almost completed this one now. 2 down, 1 to go. For anyone who is annoyed by the no RMC collected bug, I will ensure that I link to the issue council issue in the description below. This has now unlocked the risky salvage job, however we are waiting to try and find one of the 30,000 AUEC salvage jobs, preferably looking for a Hercules, as they contain significantly more cargo. But for now, let's get our third and hopefully final job. And again, as a reminder, you don't need to own a vulture, you just need a friend with a vulture to take that contract for you and share it with you, in order to unlock these high value salvage missions. Last target, let's get to it. As you can see, we're nearly done and complete. So now, in theory, under personal, you see we've now got access to significantly larger ships. Although the 12 AUEC on the Vulture is enough to get you started, you may be better considering something Cutlass Black size or larger in order to maximize the amount of money you can make from each job. You can literally use any ship for collecting the illegal salvage. The Hercules has some advantages and is undoubtedly the best tool for the job. As soon as you've grabbed yourself a cargo ship, the new mission should now be available. The one you're looking for is under personal, salvage, and ideally you're looking for a risky Crusader C2 Hercules job. These will appear in one of two places, either over on Yella or on one of the moons surrounding Hurston. As these missions are on a time limit, you may want to consider getting closer to your destination before you accept the mission. But if you take too long, there is a risk that someone else will collect it before you. These missions also time out at regular intervals. Another tip is if you don't see a C2, A2 or M2 mission here, you can click on another large ship, reject the offer, and it may get replaced with a more desirable ship. But as you can see, sometimes they disappear. So let's not risk it and let's take this C2 mission now. It does cost 30,000 AUEC, which you won't get back if the server crashes. However, the loot that is on board will more than cover the costs, as long as it comes into accepted. Come on, game. There we go. Phew. As soon as you start the mission, you'll have an approximate timer for when security will arrive, but there's typically plenty of time. We've made it here in plenty of time. Let's do a little scan, see if we can find our ship. There it is, about 9 kilometers away. When you get within a few kilometers, you'll want to hit V to go into scan mode and start scanning the ship. It may take a while, but eventually, on the right hand side, it should come up with some cargo. Let's have a look what's on board here. 150 SCU of maize, 46 SCU of slam, and the rest doesn't really matter. Let's grab that. I'll generally park nose to nose just from habits of boarding with A2s, as they have more space in the front to get large boxes out. Now, I can't stress this enough, make sure you have your helmet on and make sure you have a tractor beam and probably a spare tractor beam before yeeting yourself into space. Oops, came in a little hot there. And this is what you're looking for. Got some maize here, some more maize here, more little maize here. Anything you don't want, just toss away and try to focus on the highest value commodities first. This is much easier to do with a friend, and I'd recommend that the owner of the ship is the one who ends up attaching it to the grid. This would have been so much better if I'd started at the back, but oh well. Right, this is what we really want. By the way, hold R and continue to move your mouse in order to rotate these larger boxes. That'll do. Come on, Maisie. Oh, and we can't forget about these bits of maize too. I thought I saw one more big crate in there. Let's have a quick look. Slam. Yes, I did. Pass box. And let's close up and go. Now, the reason I put myself into a slight drift is that if security does show up, they won't be able to scan my vehicle because it's not stationary. There are a number of places that you can go to sell these illegal goods, but I personally go to Devlin Scrap and Salvage as it's one of the most out-of-the-way locations that typically has a high demand for some of these drugs. And there we go, we are safe and away before security showed up. Now please note, before I get any hate in the comments section, that was the first ship that I came across, but the loot pool that's in a ship could vary greatly. Sometimes it's Quantanium, sometimes it's drugs, and sometimes it's just worthless trade goods or resources. So results may vary. Needless to say, it appears CIG have not updated their loot pools, and you can still make an insane amount of money doing these illegal salvage missions. So get in while the going's good. Okay, now we're just a couple more jumps away from profit. Now, I typically only recommend going into these scrap yards with security. If you have a friend that can scout out the site ahead of you, it would be a great advantage. And if you need a friend to help you out, feel free to join Seven Hills, link in the description. But if you are going in solo, make sure you scan a lot on your way in. And if trouble happens, just get out and sell another day. Better to survive with your goods than risk combat and lose everything. There's a target. What is it? It is a Connie Phoenix Emerald. He doesn't appear to be moving. We can scan him on the way in. If the owner is game rules, then we're fine. That's a risk I'm willing to take. And you can park in any of these gaps in the mounds. Full power to shields, and let's get out. Let's make sure we have a gun on us, just in case. This building is the one we want to go into. It's got 2 entrances. Okay, looks clear. Let's put our gun away. And let's get a sail. These screens are obnoxiously bright. So, let's see if we can sell all of our slam. 9.8 million AUEC. Don't mind if I do. Confirm. Well, that covers the cost of the Hercules, the Vulture, and everything else. We didn't manage to sell it all, but another 700,000 from the slam. So what's that? 10 million AUEC? Not bad, not bad. Now, we still have some maize. There was no demand for it, but that can change, so let's try and sell again. Oh look, another 3 million. Nice. And that's it. Our ship is completely empty, and I'll put the total that we got up on the screen now. Looks like we've got a bit of a storm brewing, but I'll put the full list of costs and profit made up on the screen here for you. If you like the video, please don't forget to give me a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Whoa. That's the first time I've had the insane amounts of quantum dust thing happen. I'd heard other people say that happened to them.